Oh,
Okay.
Don't be scared. Come on, it's okay. We'll do tranquilizer forming.
This is Triceratops. An 8-ton tank on legs, armed with 3 spear-sized horns and a solid bone shield capable of stopping any apex predator in its tracks. It is arguably the most famous herbivore to ever walk the earth. Behind the childhood icon lies a creature that completely reshaped our understanding of prehistoric life. From an embarrassing 19th century blunder that mistook it for a modern buffalo, to spectacular modern discoveries that caught it locked in a literal duel to the death, Triceratops has forced paleontologists to rewrite the rules of dinosaur growth. Today, we are unlocking the real story of the three-horned face, how it was found, the legendary specimens that changed science, and why it remains the ultimate heavyweight champion of paleontology. Our story begins in the summer of 1887. Geologist George Lyman Cannon is out prospecting near Denver, Colorado, when he unearths a pair of massive, solid horn cores sticking out of the rock. He packs them up and sends them across the country to Othniel Charles Marsh, a towering though deeply flawed figure in American paleontology. Marsh takes one look at these massive horns and makes a legendary blunder. Operating under the assumption that large, dramatic horns like these couldn't possibly belong to a creature from the ancient Mesozoic, he officially named the animal Bison alticornis, a giant prehistoric species of modern buffalo. He thought he was looking at an Ice Age animal. He was only off by roughly 60 million years. Realizing something was deeply wrong as more material trickled in, Marsh scrambled to correct his mistake. Enter John Bell Hatcher. The brilliant field collector known as the King of Collectors, Hatcher was sent out to the brutal badlands of Wyoming and Montana, where he began pulling up gigantic, terrifyingly complete horned skulls. Marsh finally realized these weren't bison. They belonged to a brand new suborder of ornithischian dinosaur, the Ceratopsians. In 1887, Marsh coined the genus name Triceratops, meaning three-horned face. For decades, putting Triceratops together was like assembling a jigsaw puzzle in the dark. The original Smithsonian display, mounted in 1905, was actually a composite built of roughly 10 different individuals. But modern paleontology has moved past composites. Today, we have discovered incredibly complete individual specimens, each telling their own specific story. Take Kelsey. Discovered in 1997 in the Lance Creek fossil beds of Wyoming. More than 50% complete by bone count, Kelsey is a scientific marvel now housed at the Children's Museum of Indianapolis. What makes Kelsey so special is her age. Bone analysis reveals she was an elderly individual. Her fossilized neck and hip joints show clear signs of severe arthritis, giving researchers a rare look at how ancient dinosaurs aged, slowed down, and suffered from diseases surprisingly similar to modern animals. Then there's Cliff. Found in 2004 in the rugged North Dakota Badlands and currently reigning supreme at the Boston Museum of Science. Standing 9 feet tall, Cliff is celebrated as one of only 4 near-complete Triceratops skeletons on public display anywhere on the planet. Because Cliff's bones were so structurally pristine, he has become a global baseline specimen, allowing researchers from all over the world to run 3D laser scans to map out ceratopsian biomechanics. But if Cliff represents structural perfection, Willard represents absolute scale. Discovered in 2017 on a ranch in North Dakota, Willard is an exceptional specimen. Spanning an astonishing 28 feet long and towering nearly 12 feet high, Willard is considered the largest Triceratops skeleton ever put together. Boasting a massive 4.6 foot long femur, Willard shows how shockingly enormous the genus could get at its absolute maximum evolutionary ceiling. But finding giant adults is only half the story. For a long time, baby and juvenile Triceratops specimens were incredibly elusive. Small bones are fragile, and small animals are easily destroyed by scavengers before their bones can fossilize. However, landmark expeditions led by paleontologists like Mark Goodwin completely cracked open the field of dinosaur ontogeny, or the study of how animals grow from hatchlings to adults. Goodwin unearthed a remarkably pristine juvenile skull, cataloged as UCMP 154452, which measured just under 15 inches long. What it revealed shocked scientists. Triceratops underwent a total skeletal metamorphosis. As babies, their brow horns were nothing but tiny straight stubs. As they reached early youth, their horns actually curved back, pointing towards their backs. Only as they matured into subadults did the horns straighten out, ultimately curving dramatically forward into the devastating forward-facing weapons we see on adults like Willard. These juvenile finds prove that the frill and horns weren't just weapons. They were dynamic social indicators used for age group signals and visual identity. Triceratops holds a critical role in paleontology because it provides the absolute best physical evidence of ancient predator-prey dynamics. For over a century, the idea of T-Rex hunting Triceratops was just an educated guess based on anatomy. But in 2006, commercial fossil hunters in Montana made a discovery that blew the doors off the scientific world: the legendary dueling dinosaurs fossil. Preserved in an unbelievably complete state, this single block of sandstone captures a Triceratops horridus and a medium-bodied tyrannosaurid buried together. For nearly 2 decades, the fossil was locked away in legal battles, but it was heavily rumored to be a smoking gun for ancient combat. A teenage T-Rex caught in a fatal fight with a giant herbivore. When scientists at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences finally began analyzing the bones microscopically, they uncovered a massive plot twist. According to NPR, paleontologists concluded that some of the bones from the specimen belong not to a teenage T-Rex, but to a fully grown individual of a different tyrannosaur species, Nanotyrannus. Growth rings proved that the predator was roughly 20 years old and fully grown. It wasn't a baby T-Rex at all. It was an adult Nanotyrannus, a completely separate, highly agile pygmy tyrant that shared the landscape. The fossil captured a staggering moment. The Nanotyrannus' teeth are broken off and embedded into the Triceratops spine, while the Triceratops skull is crushed. Whether they died in the final stages of a battle to the death or were swept away in a sudden collapse, the specimen proves that Triceratops lived and died on a terrifyingly violent frontier. So why does Triceratops matter beyond looking cool on a lunchbox? To paleontology, Triceratops is a masterclass in functional morphology and ecosystem dynamics. Weighing between 6 to 12 metric tons and stretching up to 30 feet long, a mature Triceratops was one of the few plant-eating dinosaurs that could actively outweigh a subadult or adult T-Rex. Its mouth was an engineering marvel. It featured a sharp, parrot-like keratin beak that snipped cycads and palm fronds, backed by a complex dental battery containing up to 800 constantly replacing teeth designed to slice and grind abrasive vegetation. Furthermore, the massive bony frill and horns, once thought purely defensive armor, are now understood to be vital instruments for species recognition, sexual display, and intraspecific dominance, telling us how complex dinosaur social behavior truly was at the twilight of the Cretaceous period. Ultimately, Triceratops wasn't just a bystander in the history of life on Earth. It was an apex herbivore, the absolute pinnacle of ceratopsian evolution. It thrived for millions of years across North America, standing its ground against the most terrifying predators to ever exist, right up until the very day the asteroid struck 66 million years ago. Its fossil legacy did something remarkable. It broke our old scientific assumptions by forcing us to look past the initial blunders, study the dynamic shifts of dinosaur youth, and witness the brutal reality of prehistoric combat. Triceratops fundamentally proves that paleontology is a living, breathing science. It reminds us the past isn't completely set in stone. Sometimes it just takes the right three-horned giant to shatter what we think we knew, and to make us look a little closer at the world we left behind.
Oh my god.
She was always my favorite when I was a kid. Now I see her, she's the most beautiful thing I ever saw.